Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Well, I got outside to do a little video. Man, they were about to, people across the street from my house were about to drive me crazy with power tools this morning, so I just took the path of least resistance. Decided to come down here and do a video in some peaceful scenery, and I found a couple of shaded spots. I might just hang out down here for a while, but yeah, beautiful down here. I grew up on these creek banks. That's what we did when I was a kid. We spent most summers at the creek. Now I don't really want to go in fresh water because you hear about all this flesh-eating bacteria and all these viruses and stuff. So I'm staying on dry land. Yeah, it's a really beautiful day here, although we've got a potential storm coming to the Gulf Coast. It won't do anything to where I'm at. Even if it hits direct, it's not going to be a big one. But anyhow, today I want to talk about an all or nothing raw vegan mentality. I want to just kind of share some thoughts on that. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you'd hit that subscribe button now, click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. And you might want to do that as well, even if you think you're already subscribed. A lot of people are losing subs, not being subscribed to channels they thought they were, so I'm just like not even just telling you just for mine, but for other people's as well. You know, I think it's a shame sometimes when I'm in a group or when I'm watching a discussion or whatever. I just see this dynamic, and there's just so much of this dynamic out there in the vegan world, in the high carb vegan world especially, in high carb plant-based world, about raw versus not. And it just seems like with most things, people have to fall on one end or the other. It's got to be all or nothing. And I just, for a lot of different reasons, I just think that's kind of a shame. You know, regardless of what you think about this lifestyle. Okay, let me start from the standpoint of the people that are, if you're not all raw, it's like basically useless. Come on. Be real with me. No matter what your ideas are for yourself on all raw, or how raw you've been, or how many days you've marked off on your little board of I've been raw, fully raw for this amount of days, you have to admit, come on, that there's not, what are you going to call somebody unhealthy that you know, doesn't eat fully raw? They might eat almost exactly like you do. They might be low fat, but they eat cooked food at dinner. They eat clean cooked food at dinner. I mean, okay, I'm not, like I say, I'm not arguing with you. I do videos all the time, and I feel like for me, the raw is optimal. I always feel my best on raw, but I don't ever want to be exaggerated or exclude others and be just like, no, that's not, you know, because there is a lot of benefit from just simply a plant-based diet. You know, forget the fruitarian stuff, forget everything else. Just from following a low-fat, clean, plant-based diet, there's so many health benefits from that. You don't even know like how far you came when you came from the standard American to that. I mean, wow, you know, you reduced your chances of disease so much with that. But for some people, it's just not enough. And that's all they harp about on all the time. And that's all they focus on, is that 100% being raw vegan. And then on the other side, you have the people, and a lot of times on the other side, the people that are very much against the raw vegan lifestyle have done the raw vegan lifestyle. And for some reason, it didn't work for them. For some reason, it just didn't work because they couldn't make it work. It didn't work within the framework of their lifestyle. Maybe it wasn't practical for them or whatever. But also too, then you have the ones on the cooked vegan side that are still high carb, and God bless them, and they're still getting so much benefit from their lifestyle, but they're almost kind of cynical now, and they're anti-raw, and they throw raw under the bus every chance they get when they're basically just going against their own common sense, because common sense tells us whole, fresh, ripe, sweet fruit is what we thrive on. So over here, you've got the people that are like the priest of the raw vegan movement. You know, they're very severe. They have their rules. Must be raw all the time. They have the holy temperature. If we dehydrate, nothing must go above 118. They even use thermometers. I know people sometimes will put a thermometer in their Vitamix to make sure it didn't go over the holy 118. So those people, it's like it's raw or nothing. And then you got the ones over here that are just like, you know, they see no use in the raw whatsoever. It's just like, nope, done that. I don't like raw. I'm pissed off at raw. I'm angry at raw. Why I don't do raw anymore? Why raw doesn't work anymore? And there's so much between those two extremes. There's so much health. There's so much health between those two extremes. And probably, even though they're being extremists, those extremes are not unhealthy. You know, the person that's eating 100% fully raw, I'm sure is a healthy individual. That person that is eating a clean, low-fat, plant-based diet, no matter how much cooked they're eating, I'm sure they're an incredibly healthy individual, probably. All not taking in other factors in their life, where they came from, other toxins in their area, other habits they might have, other habits they may have had in their past. Both extremely healthy individuals. And in between, in those gray areas, there's so much health in between there. But yet, those two different types of mentalities, it's just, you know, it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. Some have chosen all raw all the time, and some have chosen, nope, just not interested in raw at all. I don't even see them. Like some of the people that eat the cooked vegan, like I say, don't have a problem with it at all, and God bless you, eat whatever you want to. But even like breakfast and lunch, they're almost eating cooked food 3 times a day. That I don't get. That I don't get at all. But like I say, I'm not the food police. It doesn't bother me what anybody else eats. Now on the other side, where the people that have the mentality like it's raw, it's all raw or nothing. This mentality, I believe, a lot of the time is what causes them to fail, because they're so obsessed with just the raw aspect of it. In other words, like when I came to this lifestyle, I was totally like a big wide open baby to the world. I didn't have preconceptions. I just wanted to learn. I wanted to learn with an open mind. I wanted to keep my mind open to facts, to things that I was reading. And yeah, I wanted to take in as much of this as I could. But for so many people, you know, it's like they don't focus on the health aspect of it. And what can I do to get my body into its healthiest state? It's all about, I've seen this raw thing. Oh, I see the inner circle of raw people. Oh, I see the people that are chanting and enlightened and about to float away, that are fully raw, and that's all they can see, that's all they know, and that's their focus from the very beginning, is being fully raw. I see people that are fully raw that I don't know why they're bragging about it so much. They obviously have weight to release. They haven't gotten many of the benefits of it. You can see the puffiness in their face. You don't see the clarity in the eyes, and a lot of it's because when they're being fully raw and they're not really ready to be fully raw, they're being fully raw by eating high fat, and that's how they can do it. And that's where you see the puffiness. They're using fat, and they're just not eating that clean, but they're fully raw. And eventually, by having this all or nothing mentality, what happens with a lot of the extremists on the fully raw thing is it's like a rubber band that just keeps getting tighter and tighter and tighter wound, and you know eventually it's going to break. And that's what happens with them. And then they break because of this fully raw mentality. And when they break, what do? What's the first thing they do? If they do a YouTube channel, they go to YouTube and they tell you why raw vegan, they're not raw vegan anymore, why raw vegan doesn't work, not why it doesn't work for them, but why it doesn't work. And then it just starts evolving into why it's stupid, and now raw vegans, you know, this thing. And a lot of times when they try to do fully raw vegan, and they for some reason don't seem to be able to, they just go away from their health, from the plant-based, from the ethical vegan part whatsoever. And you know, 6 months, a year later, you see them, and they've taken step by step. They went down from here to here to here. I've seen a few people on my Facebook feeds that probably added me as a friend back when they were the hardcore vegans. I mean, they're showing steaks and stuff on their feed now. So by having that mentality, they went all the way from doing something that was really healthy for them to just back almost to the standard American diet. So, you know, don't be so focused on this all or nothing mentality. It's not good from an individual standpoint, from the standpoint of the person doing it, but also too to anybody out there. And for the people that are doing like a YouTube channel, or they're just they're big on Instagram, they're sharing anywhere out there, they're actually educators or just content distributors sharing a lot to spread this message. I think the all or nothing mentality does a disservice to people out there that might come to a plant-based lifestyle, because I've said this many times before, let's be realistic. No matter what we think about it, whether maybe the fully raw is the greatest thing ever to come along, it's going to heal us, it's going to make us levitate, but I'm about reality, and most people are never going to be raw vegans. I want you to listen to what I'm saying right there. Most people, no matter what you show them, no matter how much you talk to them, no matter how many recipes you make for them, are never going to be raw vegan. A lot of people are never going to be fully plant-based, fully vegan, but so you can even imagine if there's a percentage, if it's hard to get them to plant-based vegan, how many fewer are you going to get to being raw vegan? So I just think it's a shame, because there's so many people out there that get turned off too when they watch the educators or the people on YouTube or the people that are just sharing. Sometimes it's just they're just people that are kind of leaders in groups on social media, and they only come from this raw. And people, I think, that are newer to the lifestyle start seeming to really get that into their head, and it sticks. That, well, if I'm not fully raw, then I don't belong here, or I don't have anything to learn here, so time for me to move on. And you're not as effective as a communicator or an educator, because you're only talking to people that you're basically preaching to the choir when you're putting out this hardcore raw vegan message all the time, because most of the people that are going to follow you, that give you the likes, that do whatever, are already raw vegan. They're already converted. They already understand, or they think they understand about it. So there's a lot of in between in there. Let's just, like I say, let's don't focus. You do what you want to do and work towards your best version of you. And if that's fully raw, that's great. You know, I'm clicking on a nice little cleanse here. I'm on day 5 of just mangoes and green smoothies, and I couldn't feel better. I'm just absolutely full of energy right now. But yeah, let's try to spread a message of plant-based, and let's just be a little bit more inclusive, for the purpose of our own health and for the purpose of more people out there. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed this message, and hope you enjoyed getting out and about a little bit today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you again tomorrow. Love you guys. Peace.